disseminate the recording for any future use. So with this, I would like to hand over to Fatima and Amra in Geneva.
Thank you, Attila. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. And I am here with Amra in Geneva. Karina is in Budapest. Of course, Attila is also in Budapest, but sitting in at a different desk. As Attila explained, we will provide first briefing through PowerPoint. Then there will be a session for question and answer. And then will be a demonstration for examples on calculation. Thereafter, we'll again open for question and answer. Please don't be shy to ask questions, but please ask first by either writing your comments or questions in the chat box. We will monitor that, or please ask your question verbally when it's open for question and answer session. Meanwhile, we request you all to listen in. Thank you so much. I will take the presentation with my colleague Amra. She will give for certain slides, and I will take up the other slides, and then we'll proceed from there.
Okay, this is Amra, and I also welcome you to this WebEx meeting. We will start by the topic of today is the project headquarters support cost. Please, I would like to draw your attention to the change of terminology. It is called project headquarters support cost. It is not the term overhead or overhead project support costs or NGO support costs do not apply anymore. And if you can try to be consistent in the use, which is in light with the policy and guidance note number 3 that was issued by implementing partners support section and approved by the High Commissioner. So project headquarters support cost means support provided to an international partner that implements the project in countries other than where its headquarters is located in order to assist with the headquarter costs related to overseeing and supporting the project. So this is considered as indirect support costs, while all the costs others that are related to direct implementation of the project are and should be referred to as direct project costs. So for example, if we have a partner that is operating in Tanzania and the regional office is based in Nairobi, while that same partner and NGO has its main headquarters in another location, let's say in the US. UNHCR's calculation towards indirect or project headquarter costs should be based on the following calculations and following approved rates that are applicable for certain partners. I hope you all on your screen see the percentages that apply and that are varied for different partners. So we have a rate of 7% that applies to international NGOs, 7% for IOM, with there is an exclusion that applies, the different calculations. UN partner, UNOPS project, except for UNDP, UNICEF, and UN Women. It is 7% for UN partners, except for the 3 that have the exceptionally approval for 8% overhead. UNOPS affiliated workforce is 7%, but there is a separate special calculation for that, while national NGOs, the overhead costs do not apply because they are implementing in the area where they are based, and they do not have headquarters based elsewhere. Maybe, okay. Fatima, if you want to explain a bit the exceptions.
Yeah, our base comes from, we support partners, as Amra explained, to manage projects funded by UNHCR from distance. And such a cost is considered indirect cost. Therefore, any staff based, say, in Nairobi or based in the US or to support a project that is implemented in Tanzania, we only give them 7%. We don't give them 7%. We don't give them a staff cost over there. We just give 7%. We don't give office support cost or stationery for the regional office, neither the headquarters. This 7% indirect cost is supposed to manage that. I give always the example of my own. I'm sitting at headquarters. I'm an indirect cost in a sense of UNHCR budget classification. The rest, you and what is done in the field directly with refugees, these are direct costs. Therefore, the differentiation and classification comes from there. The base is 7%. Why? I don't know why 7%. UNHCR also, for the first time in many years, only this year is now being allowed to take 7%. Before, we never took headquarters support costs. Now, UNHCR, for the first time, we will have 7%. But there are some exclusions, of course, because we receive 7%. We can't give away all the 7% we receive. Therefore, some exclusions have been introduced. For these exclusions that are not of direct effort or any effort to partner. For example, if partner buys 1 bag of cement or buys 20 bags of cement or 300 bags of cement, it's not his direct effort. Therefore, you cannot give them further funds on that. Otherwise, it will become as taxing every dollar we give to refugee purpose. Hence, that's the base for exclusion. International NGO partners or international MPO partners, it's 7%, applies certain exclusions, which we will explain in the next slide. For IOM, it's again 7%. There are exclusions apply, but because we had, before this policy came out, an agreement with MOU with us and IOM that allowed them to have 7% across, and there was no limit to that MOU. We could not break the MOU, but we negotiated instead of giving them everything 7%, the exclusion they will take 5%. If we are not happy to give them 5%, we should not give them a budget, for example, that is above 100,000 bulk or exclusions. This is the whole purpose. For the UN, again, it's 7%. 3 UN agencies on exceptional basis, because their EXCOM required us to do so, they are giving 8%, but 7% and exclusion clauses apply. UNOPS, affiliated workforce. UNOPS, as you know, applies for 2 grades. If they're implementing projects like any other UN agency, they have 7% solely and full stop, and they will also have exclusions. If it's UNOPS affiliated, again, it's just 7%. Project headquarters support cost, it's 7%. They call it management fee. We call it project headquarters support cost. In addition, which is not overhead, which is not support cost, it is additional cost, 2% for locally managed direct cost. It's direct cost, 2%, because we don't give them office, we don't give them office material, we don't give them anything in the field nor in the headquarters. So they get 2% for locally managed direct cost. And if the overall project exceeded 200,000, they get an additional 10% because they do extra work accordingly, and that has been negotiated. And as Amra explained, national NGOs or national partners, not just NGOs, but the government partners as well, they are not to be giving 7% because they're operating in country of operation and country of origin is the same.
Maybe just to add one change from the previous policy, now the partners do not need to demonstrate and show a contribution that is equal to 7% or higher to be eligible for project headquarter costs. They are entitled to receive them if they request them. Okay.
Yeah. So what do we mean exclusion? Exclusion is that you do not provide 7% on the following budget lines. If the cost of bulk procurement, which is explained as anything goods or service procurement, such as food, non-food items, fuel, spare parts, rental of warehouses, construction building materials, subcontracting for commercial contracts, blah, blah, blah. If that is the case, and it is 100,000 when it's comparing at the account level, I'm stressing at the account level. If there are many fuels bought at account level exceeds 100,000 US dollars, we call it bulk. That's just to explain. It's not mean you bought it in bulk. It doesn't mean you bought it what you call as one wholesale. But if combined, you bought the budget is 100,000 and above, 100,000 above 100,000, you do not apply the 7%. You just provide $7,000, which is 7% of the 100,000. So just blindly, you just take it out and say 7,000 rather than saying 7%. In order to help partners, well, we do consider giving the 7% is partner personnel cost, office rental cost, purchase of office supplies, travel. All these are not considered procurement or bulk procurement. You can give them the 7% full. And then the cash voucher and assistance. Any sort of cash assistance you may give to refugees, whether it's through bank, whether it's through mobile phones, whether it's vouchers. If that is a direct cash assistance, you would then not give anything. You just apply 0. If it's microcredit, the same. It applies 0. Again, there's one item which is not very clear to many of us, and High Commissioner personally added, is that any delivery item of large volume or bulk which would result in similar impact on the budget as the preceding items, it means, I give you an example. For example, the referral to medical center treatment, say, a partner we asked to give refugees assistance so that the refugees can go to a national hospital. Each time the national hospital treats the refugee, they will give a voucher or a bill, and the bill is sent to the partner for refunding. These are, if they accumulated, they become 100,000 US dollars at the account level. Again, that does not qualify 7%. So it means the same as cost of bulk procurement. And for that reason, it was introduced. And here I stop and then request my colleague Amra to proceed.
You have to note that the cost of office rental by the partner, personnel costs, purchase of office supplies, in fact, the administrative costs that are direct costs supporting the project are not excluded from the calculation of the project headquarter cost. they do not really fall under the bulk procurement, because the bulk procurement is, as we say, the larger, big-scale procurement of items that are intended for as direct support to the refugees. Okay, just let us go back to the slides, to the previous slide. Okay, so you have to make sure that disbursement of the installments and the recording of the headquarter costs needs to be on the account that you can see. The percentage needs to always be proportionate to the installment rate, and when monitoring, we need to make sure that the implementation, that the expenditures are in line with the charges of the project overhead costs.
And just to stress again, when you are budgeting, please use this correct account chart field, please. It's very important for us to track. As of this year, the financial statement will clearly, UNOCHR end-of-year financial statement, which is certified by High Commissioner and audited by the Board of Auditors, we will have to disclose exactly how much amount went for indirect costs. And therefore, this account has specifically placed, and I would request you and appeal to you to use this account correctly so that we can track properly. And as Amra explained, please be careful when you are releasing the fund so that you don't overpay for overhead costs. And if the end of the year you adjust your overall budget, also look at it if it had any implication on the project headquarters support costs so that you can proportionally correct overall. And we will now move to about 10 minutes question and answer, and then Karine will help us to show the examples. So Attila, can you please open question and answer session?
Thank you, Fatima and Amra. I see a hand from Osinde. Osinde, you have been unmuted. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I sent already a text, but let me repeat. In TADAP, we have partners whom we pay 7%, and at the same time, they have staff in Nairobi whom we also contribute some percentage of their salaries. Should we consider only the 7%, or this other stuff like we pay, or we also do contribute rent and other utilities? Is this in order, or we are making a mistake?
Okay, this requires an assessment from your side. Are they regionally staffed, or they staff just placed for this project?
Okay, we have a country office. Let me give an example of DRC. They are here in TADAP, and they have a country office in Nairobi. At the same time, within Nairobi or within Kenya, they have a regional office. Now, when we pay the 7%, you see they have the country office, and that still at the same time in the country office they have a regional office.
Okay, so it's like us. For the regional office, no. For country office, because it's directly related to the project you're implementing, yes.
Okay.
Regional office, no. Country office, yes.
Okay, but for the contribution of other staff salaries, you said what?
Yeah, that's what the answer is. Even 7% is for them to support the project. If the partner is staff, it's in the regional office, you pay nothing. You don't pay staff because you're paying the 7%. But if the staff is only directly related and only came because of this project, then they will be provided.
Okay, I have a colleague here. She wants to ask a question. Maybe she goes ahead.
Okay, my name is Jan Choreke. I'm working with Osinde. If I take the example that have been given by Osinde, we have the DRC, the office in Dadaab, and we have an office in Nairobi. Now in Nairobi, we are contributing for salary, for staff they are telling us they are supporting our operation, but we are contributing also for administrative staff, even renting the office, even for the water, electricity, and so on. And all our partners in Dadaab, whom have the office in Nairobi, are asking the same.
My dear, I repeat my question, the same answer. If the office in Nairobi is a regional office, you shall not pay office rent, water, salary, or anything to do with that. They can take that from the 7%. If the staff based in Nairobi is a direct staff that's only working because of the direct activities, you give the cost for that, you budget for it.
Okay, that is clear. Now a second question. We have now a new partner who's UNOPS. They have asked, we are giving 10% in place of 7%.
No, don't give 7%. I'm correcting you. The correct figure, my dear, is 7% only. And then you give 2% called direct, locally managed direct cost. And then if the overall budget is more than 200,000, you add 10,000. As the screen shows. Please do not mix. Project headquarters cost means 7% only. Then you have 2% for locally managed direct costs and 10,000 if it is 200,000 more.
Okay.
You will see it. If you go to MSRB, what we call this disbursement agreement. Now you will see it very clear on that page, and it will clarify for you. Even the 7% we call project headquarters support cost, they call it management fee. I hope that clarifies.
Thank you. Fatima and Amra, I have put one question to your chat box.
Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing here. If we pay refugees to work for program activities like shelter, community mobilization, is it eligible for 7%? Yesterday I made a mistake. I said no. I would say here yes. They are like a staff cost. If it's like a staff cost, you pay. But if it's like incentives, cash grant, blah blah, you will not pay 7% over that. Sylvia, have I made it clear? All right.
Yes, Sylvia replied yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Syed Mustafa, floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, Fatima. Hi, everyone. Just a quick question. If an INGO partner does not ask for the project overhead support cost, are we supposed to advise them or remind them or what?
No, if they don't ask, don't give.
Okay.
They're graceful people. The money goes back to refugees anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The floor goes to Joseph Uma.
Thank you. We've talked about bulk procurement having a limit of 100,000 at account level. My question is, if hypothetically we have a partner having bulk procurement activities spread over 2 different outputs, should we consolidate those outputs and look at the consolidated account amount, or we are allowed to look at them individually at output level?
Okay, Joseph, I hope you have settled well in your new organization. First, welcome back. Welcome. Secondly,
Thank you.
It depends. If it's a genuine need to have it in 2 different outputs, you will only consider at account level. if genuinely needed. If you find some partner is not honest and trying to distribute to different outputs so that they get more money on the 7%, of course you are the budgeting officer. You have to be careful and clever enough to pull together under one account level. But if it's genuine, I give you an example. If the partner is buying cement under one output and it's 99,000, and buying another output, water, which is 90,000, I will still pay them. But if they are pulling 50,000 medicine in one output, another 60,000 medicine on another output, of course I will ask this question: why should I spread it? Why can I not put under one account? But you may be sometimes faced with when it is 2 BBGs. Again, if it's 2 different BBGs and 2 different outputs and 2 different accounts, we are obliged to pay at account level. The only thing is that you have to be done your assessment correctly. If you are in doubt, ask us. We just need to be doing our due diligence to be able to justify that we are not taking for a ride.
Okay, thank you. That is clear. And just one more question. We talk about subcontracting for commercial services being disallowed. Am I right to assume that if we've allowed an NGO to subcontract to another NGO, that will also be disallowed?
No. It's only for commercial contracts. If an international partner subcontracts, I will not use the word subcontract, we call it assignment to another partner, you will still give 7%. But then you check what is the item. If there's procurement included, you remove it. If it's cash grant included, you remove it, all these things. But if it's commercial contract, then you will disallow completely.
Okay, that is clear. Thank you.
But maybe
Thank you.
just as a comment, Attila, for all, it is always good to do the due diligence to verify and check with the partner what is the basis and review the calculation. If you are in doubt, do not hesitate, of course, to ask with, IPMS. But what is also important is to document the whole process. So you have it in the file, what was your conclusion, your review of the calculation, and to have it documented for any follow-up use by the auditors or anyone else.
The only thing we are trying here to do is that what we don't want to see. Later, after the project is closed, 2 years later, OIS comes in and tries to calculate and then tells us, please ask for refund. And that will be not good for us, neither good for partner. Partner may not be able to pay, partner may not be there, partner may dispute. If it's our error, the partner has the right to say, sorry, it's you who haven't done due diligence. And we are all human, but we just want, if you are in doubt, please ask. And Karina will soon demonstrate for us few examples. If there are no more questions, we will pose the questions now, and then after we will open the floor. But you can always send chat questions.
Thank you, Fatima. There are a few more questions, but if you prefer, we can move on with the examples from Karin.
I think that's better. First, let's move to Karina, and then after that, we will open the floor and we'll answer the first questions available.
Thank you. So, Karin, I will pass the floor to you now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am now getting ready to share my application. Just a minute. Okay, I have on the screen an example of the calculation for the project headquarters support cost. Let me zoom in a bit to make it bigger for a better view. Yes. Here we have a budget for international NGO.
Karin, sorry
yes.
to interrupt. I believe you're sharing your desktop, so please kindly check.
Okay.
Just
How about
share
now?
the running application.
Sure. Okay.
Perfect.
Is
Thank
this
you.
right now? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
On the screen, I have a budget for an international NGO partner. It's a small, simple budget where we have only 2 outputs with 3-4 accounts. Here on this column, we have the description of the accounts, and here we have the budget in US dollars. The next column represents the amount which is subject to the project headquarters support cost calculation. Please see the one which says maintenance and repair services. This is a procurement item, and the amount is 425,000, which means it is above 100,000 and it's considered a bulk procurement. So in this case, only 100,000 will be subject to the 7% of project headquarters support cost. The 325,000 will be excluded. So the amount of the project headquarters support cost you will see is 7% of the 100,000. But at the next line, we have another account, which is partner national personnel cost. As we explained in the presentation, this is not considered as a procurement, even though the amount might be higher than 100,000. So in this case, no exclusion applied, which means 7% will be applied to the whole amount of 125,000. Few lines below, we have procurement of the drugs for 150,000. Again, 7% will be applied only to the 100%. Anything above will be excluded. Another example I move to is we have a partner which is a UN agency, UNICEF. This example I picked to choose that exclusions apply also to UN agencies. So whenever you have a procurement of a bulk procurement above 100,000, the rate will apply only to the 100,000. And whenever you will have a microcredit assistance, like here we have, the whole amount of the budget will be excluded. We will have a 0 here. In our example, because it was UNICEF, the rate is 8%. For other UN agencies, it's 7%. Again, exclusions apply. All these examples are provided in the policy as an annex to help you to see the details, so no wrong interpretation of any clause of the policy is made. Next, I would like also to share a template that was created by one of our colleagues here. It can be very useful tool to be used for project control staff in the field when you are checking whether the budgets for the PPAs have been prepared correct. You just simply have to put in the budget amount. This is wrong. You have to put in the budget. I zoom a bit more, okay. What is the total budget for the project? Then you list any bulk procurement at account level, and if there is any cash assistance or microcredit, and then the formula calculates automatically for you what is the amount of the project headquarters support cost. We are going to put this template along also with a PowerPoint we had today on a file that is going to be visible and shared with all the field offices on the eSafe, so you can make use of them. This is all on my side. If there are any questions regarding the calculation formulas, the logic behind those, yeah, I'm ready to take those.
Thank you, Karin. So, dear participants, any questions on calculation methodology? if you would please put that in the chat box. Otherwise, we can address general issues as we have done before. So previously, I had Agnes, your hand was raised. So let me unmute you now. Agnes Cherono. Agnes may have an issue with the microphone, so I'm moving over now to Kenzang. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes, floor is yours. You had a question.
Yes, I have a question only on the first slide, not on the calculation. So I chatted, but if I have the floor, I can read it, please.
Please go ahead.
In case an NGO requests for 5% instead of 7% for the project headquarters supported cost, could we accept it or advise the partner that the policy in UNHCR is 7%?
Well,
is it allowed to accept lower than what is in the policy?
Yes, of course. Partners, for many reasons, may not request you the 7% or may request a smaller amount. First, they don't want to have the 7% because you are funding maybe all. Maybe there are other donors who are already paying them 7%. Maybe they have a policy that doesn't allow them to take more than 4 or 3%. For example, I give you the example of UNHCR. By its rule and regulations, now the EXCOM has approved as of this year to take 7%. So UNHCR cannot charge anyone above 7%, but has the option to charge 5% or 3% or 2%. But they will be asked why you didn't charge 7%. But some, if they are only allowed 5%, you allow 5%. If they don't want to take it, don't have to take it.
Okay, well noted. And now, Joseph, we don't have access now to eSafe, so it would be appreciated if we can share the template for calculation that has just been shown.
Okay, do you have access to intranet?
Yes.
So in the intranet is there, and we will make sure the intranet. Do you know we will show you where in the intranet you can find. Maybe I can take you there. Stay online, please. The last slide. Yeah. Do you see now the slide?
Yes.
There's intranet, UNHCR with intranet site. There's a page, implementing partnership page. If you click there, you will find everything to do with implementing partnership, including this policy and how to calculate. And after we have completed the video, we will place the video there. Plus this PowerPoint, you can access. So we'll make sure both in the eSafe as well as in as well as in intranet, you will find them. And for partners, they have already the policy and its calculation method, the guidance in the partner portal. And any question you may have, you always can send it to us. You can find eSafe. Which office you come from that doesn't have eSafe as yet?
I don't have the access. There is a focal point. We are from Cameroon. We have a focal point which has the access. I don't know if we all have the access as program staff.
No,
so there is a focal point.
There is always 1 or 2 persons in each office that have access. Please ask them to give you the material, but also in the intranet. We also would like to draw attention of everyone. When we do calculation and we do correction, you will always find it under eSafe. We are going to put it under eSafe. So please have a check on eSafe. Is there any other question? Because I have a couple of things to add.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima. I have a few questions in the chat box. I, in fact, put it the first one to you just right now from Sylvia.
Okay, from Sylvia said, can I add one more? Yes, of course. This is a labor force working for the camp-based activity, and we would have to otherwise hire staff. Is this cash for work? No, labor is not cash for work. Is it? Are you doing a project called cash for work, or is it like in labor wages, refugee wages? Sylvia, can you explain to me, please?
Sylvia, let me unmute you so you can talk to Fatima. Sylvia, are you with us? Apparently Sylvia doesn't have a mic, so Sylvia, would you just kindly type your answer in the chat box?
What I'm saying is, if this is wages or payment against work done, that's not considered cash. But if the project is called cash for work, okay, so if it's not cash for work, you will pay the 7% on that amount. Because it's like personnel, it's the wages. Okay, anyone else?
The second question is now in your chat box, Fatima.
Okay. NGO apply full cost recovery approach, where they allocate their headquarters to direct costs in the field. In this case, paying 7% would be considered double dipping. What is the operation should do about it? Well, it shouldn't. 7%, whether you call it recovery cost, you call it whatever, it's indirect cost for the partner. Therefore, we only pay 17%. You don't add anything else. No more activities, no more staff, even no travel from headquarters to come to the field for monitoring, or somebody at headquarters sitting to be given his salaries. All this don't exist. Cost recovery is part of indirect cost, and we are paying also the indirect cost. So headquarters support cost covers that. And we want to make sure here, I'm emphasizing, project headquarters support cost. It is not partner only headquarters support cost. It's anywhere away from where the operation is taking place. As we explained extensively, like the complicated situation in Nairobi. Nairobi office, if it's international, if it's regional office, their cost, whether they call it full cost, whether they call it direct or indirect, for us is indirect cost, and it is the 7%. I hope that explains. Next.
Robinson, the floor is yours. Robinson, can you hear us?
Maybe you give us the question, Attila.
Yes, Robinson's question is in your chat box now.
Okay, Robinson, how do you treat a situation in Kakuma, Kenya, where we have 2 goals in operation and a partner is implementing procurement activity under 2 goals? Goal means the BG? No. Goal is not higher than BBG. Anyway, the same explanation. If it is deliberate dividing the cost, you will not give that. If it's the same drugs and can be bought from the same commercial or same source, try to put it under one account. And if it's under one account, then they're not entitled above 7%. They're not entitled above 100,000. But if you made a mistake and you distributed onto different account level, or you agreed with partner, then you have to apply. So look at your account level. Okay, good. I was waiting for this question, and I'm glad you had asked about currency. So it's about currency. What currency we should budget and pay for project headquarters support costs? To be honest, in the policy of the High Commissioner, it says give them proportional to the currency of implementation of the project. For example, if the project has local currency, you pay as local currency. If it has international currency, you pay international currency. But we have realized most of the partners are residing outside and they need this money outside instead of us giving them in local currency and then they exchanging in and a loss. We would give them in hard currency. If the partner asks the money to be given in hard currency, please, you can give them in hard currency. And the justification is in the PPA. The PPA has a term which says you can budget in the currency of expenditure. Since the partner is spending in hard currency, that's your justification. You budget under the hard currency. Have I explained the point, Abby?
Fatima, I think the person has an issue with the microphone.
Can you ask in writing?
Yes, he says yes. Clarification is clear.
Okay. There is one question here. In situation that we have a PPA with two situations, and procurement has been split into two situations. Generally, shall we give the yes? If that's the case, if our project is divided in that way, we cannot combine it, and you feel it has to be separate, then you will have to give it. If you strongly feel you can pull it together under one account, pull it together on one account and don't give it. It's your discretion, it's your judgment, that's why you are there. You have to find out the best way to save money for UNICEF. Anything else? Any other person has a question?
There are a few more questions. I just put a question from Syed in your chat box.
Okay. Am I right that we will not ask any supporting document? Yes, you trust them to say they're using this money. But if you slowly suspect they may be using the money, I will exaggerate, going to, what can I say, the beach to use UNICEF funds, you alert us or alert the auditors, then we have the right to ask for more details. As you know, the PPA says UNICEF has the right for all documentation for all the funds has been used for the intended purpose. The intended purpose here is to give partners some money to support them so that they can support the project, not to use for other things. They must use for the issues related to the project. But we give them discretion to divide and use it as they see fit. But if they are not complying and they're not honest, then we will have to take it elsewhere. We may even go for IGO. But as a project control officer in the field, you ask the question always, have you spent for the right purpose? They said yes, you take it. Have I answered your question, Sayed? Okay, Attila.
Until the answers come, I would like to give the floor now to Birhanu.
Okay, Birhanu.
Birhanu, can you hear us? Birhanu, if you don't hear us, please put your question in the chat box. Oh, I think I already have Birhanu's question. Over to you, Fatima, now.
Okay, just want more clarification regarding international NGO subcontracting to other agencies. Are they eligible for headquarters? My understanding was that to exclude subcontracted agency is not incorrect. Okay. If it is subcontracting commercial, you will not give the 7%. If they are subcontracting national NGO or any other NGO, you will have to give the 7%. But you look at the account, what are the budget lines? Why we giving here preferential and privilege? Because many partners, international, may be supporting national partners for their capacity building or for other relations they may have. For that reason, they negotiated with us. This is one of the things UNHCR allowed and listened to the partner's request. So in short, if it's a commercial, you don't give 7%. If it's partner contracting other partner, you look at the budget lines. The budget line applies as we explained earlier. Anyone else? Okay. If there is no more question, I will wrap up.
There are a few more questions, Fatima. I just put a question from Blaze to the chat box.
Okay. For currency, what rate to use? No, use, my dear, always the UN rate. Use UN rate, please. Go into your internet or MSRB. Go to the MSRB. Use UN rate at the budgeting time. Okay, got it?
Thank you, Fatima. We have a few more questions. Please let me know how many more should I give to you.
We have 5 more minutes.
Okay. There you have the question from Getande.
Okay. Getande, first of all, please don't call it overhead cost. Either call indirect cost or call project headquarters support cost. And it means a difference, please. Currency, they ask the overall cost in US dollars. For which rate we should use? Use UN rate. UN rate, which is you can find in MSRP at the time of budgeting. Next.
A question from Hanya is in the chat box.
Okay. If NGO will send a staff from the regional office to support the project for a short period, this can be considered out of their 7%? Yes. It's their 7%. That's the reason we are giving them the 7%. You don't give them a staff cost. Just to be sure, we put the right account 61100 to record project headquarters support costs, please. No overhead fees or anything like that. For UNOPS, I explained, it depends. If UNOPS affiliated workforce, please use the disbursement agreement, it will explain. The first line, 7%, is the fee for management. The rest, as we explained. The account number is 811. Please show, please. Yeah. Account number we will show you now on the screen. Yeah, that's the account number. Please use the account number. Thank you. From, again, yeah, Dawood, can a partner use project network locally? They are bound to use? No, they can use locally. They can use elsewhere, but they have to use something related to the project or support the mission. They can use anywhere they want. Some partners actually take it and really support the local office, and that's we are happy with that.
But they need to have an office elsewhere to be eligible.
Yeah, but they have to be international partner. So that's you're looking. International partner that decides to support this local office for the money they took the 7%, for example. They took the 7% from us. They gave it and distributed to their staff as an additional cost. I have no problem with that. They took that money and opened an office. I'm fine with it. So that's related to, they can do what they like. They have that discretion. The point is they use it where they want to support the project indirectly. Anything else? It's again over.
A question from Farah just went.
Okay, Farah. Farah, may I request you again? Please don't use overhead costs, please. This is called project headquarters support cost or indirect cost. We don't have terminology with overhead costs at all, please. Rather than being budgeted separately, freight fees, regional staff, postage, and other careers. Okay, if freight fees related to the project, then you have to pay. Regional office, 0. You don't pay, you don't budget for that. It's the 7%. Postage and career, I don't know what it is. It depends what activity is there. Please make sure what you are looking at is it directly related to the activities? Yes. If it is not, it's indirect, it's 7%. Regional staff, particularly, you don't pay.
Thank you, Fatima. Would you like to address more questions or we close at this point? Please let me know.
Are there many you already have?
I have 3 more, but
okay, we take 3 more and then we conclude. We take the 3 more. There's hand up there.
Okay. We have a hand raised by Ruel.
Hello, Fatima. It's Abogi with Ruel here and other colleagues. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. Happy New Year to all. Just a little detail. We wanted to find out on what basis this actual overhead is charged, whether the limit is on the budget or the limit goes with the actual expenditure spent.
My brother, I can't hear you well. Can you type it, please, in the chat box?
Yes.
But maybe as well, in parallel, a question to all of you. This is one of the WebEx meetings that we are currently holding, which is on project headquarters support costs. If you don't mind to give a feedback as well through chat, if you would find any other subjects of interest to you to have for us to organize any follow-up WebEx. For example, management of PPAs, procurement from partners, or any subjects that could be of interest to you, it could be one way of communicating.
Okay. Do you have, Attila, the question?
Yes. Let me put more questions. from Gautama.
My dear Gautama, do you see an error you have done again? I'm sorry to remind you all again. After 1 hour discussion, I find very disappointing we are using the word overhead again. This is project headquarters support cost. If you get it, you will know what we are budgeting for. We are budgeting for project headquarters away from the country of operation. That's why it's called project headquarters support cost. Anyway, your question, field office, a partner has 5 field offices and 1 main office in a capital, and we support the office rent to contribute to their support staff in the capital on the top of the overhead. Okay, as you have written here, if the 5 field offices are all working in close with UNHCR, and the capital one is solely for this project, yes. But if that office is meant for other purposes, no.
Thank you, Fatima. Let me put the question of Ruel. He just typed.
Okay. Do we charge? Okay. Very good question. In the beginning, you will charge. The question here: do we charge the project headquarters support cost on actual expense, or is it purely on budget? In the beginning, it's budget because we don't know exactly what we expense. But make sure you adjust before final. If you had adjusted the budget and the expenditure is different, the ultimate is based on expense. Actual 7% is based on actual expense, but in the beginning is a budget.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Okay. The safest, this Mustafa is asking, can we pay them at once, not proportionally to an installment? The answer would be, it's better to pay proportionally. It relates the same question Roel asked. Is it really related to actual expense or purely budget? In order to be close to actual expense, it's better to pay proportionally, or delay it until end of the project and pay as a last installment. Then you know exactly how the partner have expense, but then you are disadvantaging the partner. I would be flexible here, but if I was doing myself, I would do it proportionally. If not, I leave it up to you. But the policy requires proportionally, and that's meant because of the based on actual expense. Okay, next.
I have another question from Ruel for you, Fatima.
Yes. Okay. Yes. For honestly and frankly, if the NGO is new, you advise them, and if they say we decided not to take it, you will not take it. You will not give them. Yes, partner has to be aware of this. They have the right. Anyway, they can also read the definitions. It's included in the definition. But yes, you can inform them. Anyone else?
Thank you, Fatima. I have 3 more questions, so still more questions coming up. Let me know how many more you want to address.
I think we've gone 10 minutes more. Please don't take more. I will respond to these 3 questions, and then we close.
All right, so the last...
Answer the question in writing later.
Okay, so the last 3 questions coming in. Please kindly read them to the crowd as they don't see the communication. Thank you.
Attila, we don't see the questions yet.
I just put it in the chat box, but let me read it out for you.
Okay.
Based on your answer to Ruel's question, does it mean that if partner is not able to use all funds and refund balances, the actual project headquarters support cost should be recalculated and the 7% on the unspent balance should be refunded?
Of course, yes, you are right. If the partner has not spent, the refund should also include the proportion that they should have not used.
Thank you. Second to last question from Blaze. What to do if an international partner has the headquarter office in the country of implementation? Should we apply project headquarter support costs?
Is it an international partner or national partner?
It is an international.
And their only office in the country, it's not possible. So that's not an international partner. An international partner is somebody based in another country. That's the definition of international partner. That originates from other country. If only originates from the country of operation, they are not international. Who is asking that question? May I know the example?
The question is coming from Blaze.
Which country is that?
I'm afraid I don't see that.
Okay, no problem. We will answer later. But I hope Blaze got it.
Okay, and the last question was put to the chat box. Fatima, do you see it?
Yes. What is a question from Agnes? What if the partner claims that the project has to have been spent if the partner spends less than the budget? You tell them you refund the unspent balance. It's part of unspent balance. You have to recover. Thank you. If there are no more questions, we wish to thank everybody. We will collect all these questions and the questions we received the other day, and we'll combine them in question and answer. But that doesn't mean that the door is closed. You can always ask us and send us an email whenever you need to ask. Now, if today or in future, if you wish to have another webinar on any other subject related to implementing partnership management, please send to me or to ePartner or to Amra or to Attila. We will organize for you to have such a sessions, and we hope you will benefit from it. And we do also. All these questions are useful, and we will be sharing with others. We thank you very much. I also thank Attila, Karine, Amra, and thank you all. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Fatima, and thank you everyone for your participation and questions. It has been most useful. I will not close the session, so if you have anything else to add related to the subject we have just covered, please put them in the chat box. I will consolidate all the questions, and as Fatima said, it will be posted on the Q&A section of the IPMS internet site. Also, if you have any thoughts on this webinar, any feedback is welcomed so that we can improve these sessions for the future. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye-bye. Oh yes, and as I see in the chat box, just to let you know, the recording will be made available. So if you had problems with your connection, it was breaking up, we will have a good quality recording available for you to view afterwards. Thank you.